And we will wait for Idalis to join us. I am so excited. There are so many rock star teams on this call. Leticia, Danielle, Stephanie, Kristine. Oh my gosh. Ashlie, Molstad, Leticia, Lori, Stuart even. Holy cow, you guys. So I only see 44 people on here right now, but I hope that's going to go through the roof because I know you guys are good for it. And if you happen to see Idalis, please let me know because I don't see her yet. So a couple of announcements before we get started and hear from the lady of the hour. I want you guys to remember the sample workout is out. If you haven't done it already, absolutely do it. Get your people to do it. Oh, and I haven't even introduced myself. I'm Mary, you guys. Hello, it's so good to meet you. I'm the manager for the Central Region. I work with the 1-star through 5-star diamonds. So if you have any leaders in the Central Region, send them my way. I would love to work with you guys. And there's Idalis. Oh my goodness, yay. Okay, so I want to go over some quick dates. So October 5th will be the coach release. Okay, you guys get to get in on that. It's 2 weeks from the 5th to the 18th. Make sure you get it in that window. That is also when the coach group starts. And so if you have questions that you have tonight that don't get answered, make sure you go into that group. She's going to go into a lot more depth and get way, way more specific. So don't worry if questions don't get answered because I know our time is short. So Idalis, welcome to the call. I'm going to make you a spotlight video. Hello.
Hi everyone, how's everyone doing? Thank you so much for taking time and hanging out with me and talk about this exciting new program. So thank you.
Love it. So I want to start off, as always, I love hearing about your story because I have to admit I wasn't aware of how much you've been through in your journey. So will you talk a little bit about, I know you're like, I say this all the time, but we love.
Oh, no, actually you're the first one that have talked specifically about that. Like, no, I usually just, yeah. So no,
It's very,
like,
very
there's a lot. Yes. And a lot of people don't know, like I didn't was open about it until actually when I started with Beachbody, when I did Mass the Mask, they were very into my story and I was expecting at the time. And it was, by then it was hard for me to talk about it because honestly, through my third pregnancy, it was a surprise baby. So I was really afraid that something bad will happen again. So it was like, kind of like God's way of having that me healing and trusting my body again. And it was a very empowering pregnancy, but it wasn't until everything was done. I was like, so, and I had to talk about on the coach's call about my story. And then I used to cry. Now I can talk about it. But yeah, so for those of you that haven't seen the Meet Idalis, is to talk obviously as much as you can in 6 minutes about certain things that are relevant to the program and to the Beachbody community. But yeah, so I was a former athlete. I wasn't the healthiest person because I never ate vegetables in my life. To this day, I force myself to eat vegetables. It's just not my thing. And today I haven't had any. Yesterday I had asparagus, but I've come a long way. Like I've still like, wow, I eat so much healthier than I had like years ago. So, but then after having a really bad neck injury for that, it was a mix of the car accident and the way that I was training when I was an athlete. And I also was born with mild scoliosis, so I was kind of like prone to already have like spasms and things like that. So I still have like the mild scoliosis both in my neck and my lower back, but it's mild, and I've just been able to really strengthen my body. So I live like 90% pain-free in comparison to those years. So after retiring, by the time I was 24, I officially have to retire from track and field. I was devastated. I was one of those persons, I don't know if anyone here have ever had a dream and you don't have a plan B. That was me. I was like, nope, Olympics. I used to make a good, decent living when it comes to like being an elite athlete. So I was just devastated. And even though I had a daughter at the time, Mia, and I love her, I knew she was like, everything to me, but I was always very goal and driven. Like when you're an athlete, that's kind of like your identity. And so after that, I was okay. I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I I stayed home for a bit. It was a huge change for me. I was going to church often, and then after like 2 years passed, and I was 26, and we decided to have another baby. So during that time, I wasn't doing any running, any lifting. I did a little bit of turbo. Charlene Johnson, I always forget if it's turbo jam or turbo fire, the one with the gloves that you were like punching and dancing, and it was really fun and upbeat. It was a huge change for anything that I did. But hey, it got me moving. And it was like 15, 20 minutes. It was super fun. And that's how I discovered Beachbody for the first time. And then I always forgot to say this in the calls. I actually ordered Brazilian butt lift and I forgot. I always wanted a big butt. I was such a sucker. I bought it. I called the infomercial. But by then, I haven't said this in another call, but then I couldn't understand him a lot. So I was like, whatever, like I didn't do it. So, and I was like, but that infomercial, if you're like me, like I'm a Latina that has no butt, like I worked so hard. Like I lift really heavy in my glutes. So I've been able to gain a little muscle, so to have a little shape, but yeah, that I was, oh, I won the Brazilian butt lifts. So I forgot until last night that we saw on YouTube the infomercial, and I started laughing with my husband. He was like, "Remember when you ordered that?" So, anyway, I'm sorry. Um, so the thing was like, and then after that pregnancy, I wasn't feeling great, but I would do the P90X, the lower body. I like the lower body, and I would do like with light weights, and some days a little core or yoga, like so, and that pregnancy in week 32, I got this. So, and I always have to say this because I like to warn people that is a serious symptom. And apparently, when I went through that brain bleed, there's a lot of people that ignore it, and those are the people who like maybe died in the process, or they'll get. When I was in the ICU, I heard that story a lot. The nurses were like, I'm so happy that you took action. There's so many people that wait, and by the time they come to the hospital, it is too late. So what happened to me? I got a sudden pain here in the back of my head, like nothing that I've ever had before. And from there, the worst headache. And I used to get a lot of migraines because of my neck and other things, but this was like something else. So they told my husband, you have to take her. It might be eclampsia, which is common, you know. So we went. I definitely knew there was something. I was scared. I couldn't bear the pain. I was asking, just please give me these drugs. When you know you're pregnant, they only give you Tylenol. That does nothing, by the way. So, and then when I described that, they did a CAT scan. Even though I was pregnant, they protected the baby. So when the results came back, obviously it was the devastating news and very scary that I had a brain bleed, and it was just very scary. We look at each other, and I now I'm actually getting emotional because I haven't said it this way in a while, but and I remember just looking at Mia, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like it is very scary. And then yeah, I called my family in Puerto Rico just in case something happened. So after that, obviously it was really hard. I was living in fear. I was afraid to close my eyes, to sleep. I'm like, what if this happens again? Oh, I thought I was not gonna get emotional. But anyways, like, so it was like, it really, that whole process took so much from me, like mentally, physically, but it also gave me so much because it was like after months and several procedures and going to hospitals and having to see specialists and living in fear while taking care of a newborn and another child. And I was one of those women who thought like being vulnerable was weak, because I grew up with my dad. Like I didn't knew that. And so I just isolated myself. Like I never told people, hey, I'm struggling. Like I'm going through this. Like I would pretend I was doing well, but yeah, it really backfired. So then after a few months in, it was just like really bad, and I decided I'm gonna take action. I'm tired. The medicine that they give me, they're making me worse, and I just fed up. And I started to get education. I started eating, forcing myself to eating vegetables, juicing. I will make this disgusting. That Shakeology is so much better, by the way. So it was basically like I went to Whole Foods and I would buy everything that I was learning on documentaries or the books or books like superfoods, but I bought everything: maca, goji berries, like chia seeds, hemp seeds, like you name it. I would oh, bee pollen, like everything with almond milk, and then another protein shake that was like plant-based, to make sure that I was adding nutrients. So that's how my approach of like focus on adding instead of restrictions, because for someone like me, and there's a lot of you, when you have really bad unhealthy habits, the whole like, oh, you cannot eat this, it doesn't really work. So I started adding more movement, and then the same apply. I started buying books. I knew coaches that used to, you know, train athletes to go to the Olympics, and those coaches, they have great training tools and DVDs and books. And it was different than at home fitness, but I would just start applying what I was learning. I started studying anatomy, how the body works, buying a lot of books that literally like physical therapists have to read. And I just kind of like start like playing around. I made a lot of mistakes because I went to CrossFit. I haven't shared this, and boy, did that mess me up too. Because I was getting really, really strong. And I'm like, okay. And that was like my thing. I used to train like that. And then 3 months into it, it's a great form. Don't get me wrong if you do it smart, but for somebody competitive and you have a bad injury history like me, it doesn't mix. Because you're going to forget and you're going to ignore your body, and then you're going to do something silly like I did and then get injured. So, but then I decided to get certified. I started training women, and it was that process that really gave me the genuine empathy, because I didn't have empathy. I couldn't relate. I was an athlete most of my life. I never really was overweight. I did gain like, I was 185, 184 on my first pregnancy and I started at 113 because I ate that bad. I was just, food was life. Food, I went to food if I was bored, if I was sad, if it was just good. Like I didn't have that relationship about nourishing. So, and then after starting training clients and getting better, I ended up, I started going for other jobs. Like I went to Women's Health for a competition that they were having, which is a very well-known magazine. And then I was selected as 5 of the trainers in the search of the next fitness star. And then I actually worked with them for like 2 or 3 years as a fitness advisor. And then I did a DVD with them. It was called All in 18. And I got opportunities to work with Men's Health. So I actually did like some DVDs. I was the background girls doing the intensifier for a men program. So that was very empowering for me, from going to she can never do anything again to start doing that. And then anyways, I got to work with all the brands, and then that's how Beachbody found me. So I always knew that after getting familiar with Tony Horton and Shalene Johnson and seeing that at home fitness, what it can do, I just set the goal, especially the day that I finished filming All in 18. I was already thinking Beachbody, because I'm like that. Like, I don't know who else is like that. Like, you do something, you're like, okay, what's next? I'm still learning to take it easy and enjoy the ride, but I'm not there yet. I'm already thinking, what is the next program? And this is not even out. but the thing is, like, I was like, I'm going to be the first Latina trainer for Beachbody. So when they called me, it was the perfect timing. I was ready. I've learned so much. I already knew how to be better in myself on camera. I used to think that you just have to like fake and be somebody else. And Nate is here. Hi, Nate. And then, but anyways, and then I created Mes de Más, which is all in Spanish. I was actually pregnant by then with Juliet, because Beachbody, they, thank God they didn't fire me. They were awesome. They believe in me, and I did the program while I was expecting. And then after, now it's just 30-day breakaway. And this is, honestly, I've been very blessed that I've done a lot of work in the industry. I've done other running series and things like that. I've done programs, and I've been part of some epic things, but I can honestly say that I've never created something that is so empowering and such a great tool for people. And I'm really excited, like, for you guys to experience it. I know that Nate is here, and so people in the test group, and not only do it for, Danielle is here. How many people are here? I only see like 5. I have no idea these people were here. So I don't know who else is on this
There's
call.
97 teams or 97 people on this call. So
I feel talking super hood, like thinking it's just you guys. Oh my God. Okay. But anyways, the thing is that, Yeah, so I lost my train of thought. I got a little distracted by the coaches, but yes, I'm really excited because not only by for you guys, what it can do for you guys in your fitness, but in your business. This is the first bilingual, not dub, and it's also the first running, and it's just so much more than running. This is a program that combined, we literally strength train 60%. So we're always going to prioritize strength training, but then you get to introduce proper, accessible, and fun ways of running that is going to be giving results both to someone who's never ran before. They have been able to run a 5K in just 30 days, and I'm still like blown away by that fact, because honestly, when I was asked, can people, because we have a boss that is really into marketing, and it was like, can we promise people they can do it in 5K? And we still didn't have a test group by then. And I was like, well, when it comes to programming, technically, yes, but I don't know, let's hold on that. So when the first test group were able to do it, and we even had someone who still have more than 80 pounds to lose, we knew, oh, we're up to something really good. And then now, obviously, we're in the half of the second round of the test group, but the first test group, we have more than 900 people. Most of them did not want it to be on the test group. I don't know what's this about. Really fun to be around, but they did not knew that, and they're like, I don't want to be in that test group, and they didn't want it to run, and they just fell in love with running, and they were able to do the first very 5K. It was very emotive. That whole day I was just crying, but in a happy, very positive. My daughter was like, oh mom, let me see the post in the group, and seeing how people were just like, it was a family affair, like people, the kids putting the medals to the moms, like friends, like going to support, doing the cards, like it was just really, really good. And this is the special thing about this program. It is empowering. Has so many non-skill victories, and it's actually teaching like a new skill that most people, it is supposed to be, oh, we all can run, but yet most people don't know how to do it efficiently or the right way, and that's why people hate it, because we feel like, oh, we're bad at it. So yes, let's start with some questions.
I love it. So I'm actually going to turn it over to Danielle, because you guys have a relationship and she knows the questions to ask. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to her, and you guys can chat. If she can find her unmute button. We can't hear you, Idalis. Oh my goodness, hold on. What is happening? Gracious, hold on, technical difficulties here. What just happened? It won't let me unmute you. What just happened? Oh. Try it one more time. I won't touch it.
There it is.
Okay.
Oh, that's a first. Oh, even though it's 2020, we've been doing Zoom calls forever, we're still struggling.
Right. Oh my goodness. Danielle, I wonder if you can take yourself off mute as well, love bug. Let's see.
And to me, it said the host will not allow you to unmute. So I don't know if it's something that that was what I was trying to write. So maybe check if you can unmute her.
Yes, I will definitely go, Danielle. Here we go. Okay. I had it unclicked, I promise. Okay, so Lori wrote a question. Oh, there we go. Go ahead.
Sorry, listen, guys, I know I'm known for not shutting up, but it's really rude to not allow me to unmute myself. I promise I have control. Hey, girl, looking fabulous as always. Actually, Lori has a great question. She was in your test group, but she actually wrote, any age recommendations for youth who are involved in sports or wanting to learn to run?
Oh my gosh, no, get them running. Like, kids are indestructible, first of all, and they're amazing. Like, after having my Valentina, like, and a lot of people start like 7, 8 years old, they start running. They can do it. Obviously, they're gonna do their own pace, but get them to run. This is actually really good. Like, I like that question.
So I have another question for you. So I did the sample workout and I loved it. You know, we talked afterwards. And so I'm going to reframe the story that I have in my head as it relates to running. But after I did it, Nate actually texted me and was like, you did it backwards. So I ran first and then did the strength training. So can you talk about your recommendations as to kind of the best or most optimal, or in your perfect world, how people would approach the program?
I'm laughing because Nate called you out and I was really trying to be nice and supportive and I didn't say anything, but yeah, I'm like, Danielle, like, so, but it really doesn't, I thought that maybe you did it in different days but then I'm like, no, and your story just said, oh, now I'm going to go for the run, but yeah, you did it backwards. Okay. So in the program, first of all, the sample, something that I need to clarify. People were asking me in other calls, is the sample like day one, like one of the workouts? No, it really is like a mini taste of the lower body, a mini taste of like the core of the upper body, but we also have a full body and another metabolic workout. So I know you guys probably were like, oh, this is not doing anything. We just wanted to showcase like the different locations and what you can expect. So in the program, it is recommended that you do the lifting first, because you do the warm-up, then you do the lifting, and then you do a run prep that is included in the same video. However, if you are someone whose your main goal in life is just to get better at running, you compete in half marathons, you're just like, that's where you want to put all your energy, you can go ahead and do the running part first. But that's only for people who are serious about running. Like they run a lot, but you still need to do the strength training. We have a separate warm-up, runner's warm-up and runner's cool downs, so that to give you guys the option to do it the way that you want to. But the reason why I recommend lifting first and then doing the runs, and that's not, you're not going to do that every day unless you do the advanced calendar, by the way, it is because I want everybody to prioritize strength training. And when it comes to body composition, it has been proven that when you lift heavy first, and when I'm going to be encouraging you guys to lift heavy first, you burn through your muscles glycogen. So when that's like the carbs that you guys ate, right? So that is the number one source of energy. So after your body burns through that, what is next? You need to burn into the stored fat. So by the time you're doing the intervals of run, which are already designed to help you with fat loss, improve your metabolism, besides your running capacities, it's just so much better when it comes to body composition. And that's what we've seen in the test group, people getting hungrier instead of hungrier, like getting very hungry because they have like, you're like gonna feel like a 20-year-old again, you know. So it's gonna allow you to be more flexible, to be better. And then it's also when it comes to the mindset, you're ready to start running when you're a little bit tired. So by the time you do the 5K, the day is designed, the 2 days prior, we're taking out a lot of the workload and you're not doing strength training. So you're going to be very fresh. So by the time I'm asking you to do a 5K, you're going to be really ready mentally and physically, because your body's going to be more rest and you're going to be able to crush, like, you know, do your best during the 5K.
So for the standard calendar, I know this question has come up a lot because you even just kind of alluded to it, that you won't always do both on the same day. Can you talk a little bit about like what the structure looks like, you know, how the, you know, recovery days work, et cetera?
Yeah. So week one is the one that I'm really going to ask you guys to be patient, because and trust that I know what I'm doing. And unless it's someone like me who's already done the calendar, but he's probably not going to do the basic the next time around. So those of you who are introducing running into your lives, week one, you only do 2 runs. So day one, you do a lifting, it's a total body, and then you do a run. Day 2, you have an upper body, and then you have a mobility workout. Day 3, you have a rest day. But the reason why week 1, we're going to take it easy is because, you know, we're doing too many things at the same time that are new stimulus in your body. So you're going to be more sore. So the recovery part and the rest are as important. One thing with this program, that it might be similar to, like, remember how you guys like on Lift 4, you guys are working hard for 4 days a week, but then you need to rest. This program, the rest days are crucial because, again, you're going to be running at higher intensities, even though a lot of you are going to be walking in between. You're going to be lifting heavier, and that's where your body's going to be regenerating, recovering, so you guys absorb everything and get the best result. But most importantly, stay healthy, less sore, and injury free.
Awesome. So another question I know comes up a lot, and we actually kind of chatted about it a little bit too, is let's talk about the weather. So, some places as this comes out, it may be heading into cold. For me, I'm really fortunate. We're heading into a season where I actually can be outside. It won't be as hot, but what can people prepare for if it rains or if it's really cold? What are some options as it relates to the weather?
Okay. Take notes now because there's a lot of options. Okay, so first of all, we have the outdoor options, and then we have the video options that I really hope you guys do at some points, because I work really hard. I have to run and talk, and there was a lot of bloopers that happened. So I really hope that you guys at some point get to experience those too. So if you don't have a treadmill, obviously, we have an indoor cardio option. I do not expect you guys, if you cannot run 3 times of the 3 runs that we're meant to, I am not going to expect you guys to do that routine 3 times a week, because that one is like a body weight, HIIT style that can also be a little taxing on the body. But maybe once or maybe twice a week the most. We also have 2 metabolic routines that are, when it comes to like increasing your stamina, your cardio, your fat loss, they are incredible. But the other thing that people are not going to expect me to say, you can do this using a cycling, like a bicycle, or you can do it with even an elliptical as well. Because what you're going to do, instead of doing the video options that you see me, or doing the audio, you're going to be doing the audio runs, but there's also going to be a video format on those. I'm going to tell you the RPEs, the time that you have left, because they're going to be appealing for the hearing impaired, which is something that we were trying to be helpful for that population. So that is, you have great interval work for people who, whether you cannot go outside, but maybe you have one of those, or maybe somebody who just, your body for some reason, and I'm not talking the standard like, oh, but my knee hurts when I run. I'm going to go into that later. People who legit just cannot run, their body doesn't agree with it, or you cannot go outside, you can still get a crazy interval work done that is going to help you continue increase your stamina and your fitness level indoors. But let's say that you don't have any of those, you keep doing your strength workout. That's what you guys have been doing anyways, right? So you can prioritize in them. If you need a little extra, maybe you do 1 round. But I'm going to tell you something. If you actually, on week 1, I had a coach, she's an elite coach, she's very fit, and she sent me a text. And she's Latina, so I get to know her, or I got to work with her in Mes de Mas. And she was like, I think in next week 2, when I do upper body, I'm going to do another round. And I'm like, no, just go heavier. But then I said, but if you need to, fine, do another round. And she literally texted me the next week, you know what? I was just using 20s and 25s and my shoulders were done. Like I couldn't do it. So prioritize the strength training. Do what you can on non-consecutive days if you can add the indoor cardio, but there are so many options. One of the things that I wanted to make sure when I was talking to the boss, because I was at the beginning, I'm like a little bit afraid, I'm like, this is beach body, they don't want to run, that the program was legit versatile and give you so many options for you guys, for coaches, in your personal lives and in your business, because this is just a lot of areas that we still need to cover as a community. And I think this is a great first step when it comes to helping people kind of like get rid of a lot of excuses, but also not having to do a cardio workout that is just burpees, plyos, because I don't believe that is the best way to do cardio all the time, especially if you're already lifting heavy.
So this may already be coming out when the program launches, like in the extra videos, but can you talk a little bit about footwear or apparel, or just like what can people start kind of prepping for now, so that they have a really, good pair of running shoes or something that's going to make sure that if they're going to run later, maybe reflective clothing. Can you give some insight into those?
Yeah. And one note, talking about those tips, I did a video homemade for the coaches who live in the cold areas as well, but a lot of more details about layering properly, what kind of socks that you guys should wear if you're running in the snow, what kind of shoes are best, checking the weather, but I'll usually going for like the field like instead of just the actual weather, because there's a lot of people that still run all year around. You just have to be smart about it. So you might be surprised yourself and be able to still do one or two of the runs. When it comes to, I'm sorry, I got distracted by the chat. When it comes to what, yes, everybody needs proper running shoes. Not all shoes that you have there that you just are taking out of the closet. Ideally, like you get fitted, like if you can go to a store that specializes and they can see you run for a bit, that would be great. But a lot of times it's just a little trial and error, like it was for me. And it depends if you have a flat feet or over arch. I recommend people who go like to a specialist and maybe get some orthos, like some inserts, because that's going to help you and make your life so much easier when it comes to running and even doing other exercises. So you definitely need running shoes. You're going to need, and when it comes to lifting, either no shoes at all, like I do most of the times, or brands who use like minimalistic shoes, like even Converse. You can buy Converse like for like $10, I think now 15, like on Marshalls or something. Those are great shoes for lifting, like if you just don't feel good going barefoot. Other things that you guys need to prep, obviously having a set of everybody has those nowadays, especially you coaches. It doesn't have to be AirPods or anything fancy. By the way, I went to Target the other day. Now they have like these weird AirPods that are like so big and they're like imitation. And I bought one and I'm like, I don't know, they're really weird. But anyways, so you can find a lot of different options. And then compression socks are sometimes good to have once in a while for circulation. They're not necessary. And then we're going to have the running belt that's going to be included where you can put your phone. I even buy these gummies because for some reason, like I get like hungry sometimes when I go for longer runs, and I put those gummies there. And then I have like a pepper gel. I like to feel like, yeah, like nobody's going to mess with me. But like with certain things like your keys, but yes, that's what you need. And obviously have different options for weights and the Beachbody resistance loop if you don't have them. But if you don't, that would be great if you get the package with them if you don't have them, because there's a lot of exercises that we're going to be doing, glute activation, knee strengthening sequences, like even some drills to help you with the ankles that we're going to be using those. So that's pretty much what you need when it comes to prepping. I went onto my stories today and I was saying, some people were sending me messages freaking out from the test group, like there's a calendar going around and I don't want to even look at the calendar. I'm sure it's nothing bad, but they're probably already like thinking that they have to do all this prep for the program. If you, the test group, most people, and even the first time around, nobody did any prep. Yes, if you can start getting outdoors, maybe do the sample run now, like twice a week, focusing on what you can do. Even if you run only 10 seconds of the intervals, 20, you still getting outdoors, you're still pushing your body, you're learning. You have to trust your body. Your body will get there. You are gonna get stronger, you're gonna get better. So maybe do the sample workout once or twice a week, or just go outside for 15-20 minutes and then alternate, like 30 seconds I'm going to jog, 1 minute or 2 minutes I walk. You can just play with the intervals, just getting your body. And my only recommendation of doing so is so that you guys, you know how when you do something new, you get really sore at the beginning? That's going to happen when it comes to running. Like it is unavoidable. Is that the word? I don't know if I said something that's the word. Sometimes I'm like, so it's going to happen. That's why first week we go more into rest days and more the rest day rollout, which is almost a 30-minute full of mobility work and a lot of foam rolling to make sure that you guys get the most out of it. But yes, don't be intimidated. The whole program is about what you can do. That's why we use RPEs. And if you're a beginner, the numbers are there, because as a trainer, I need to make sure that I make a program that even if people are doing it for the time number 10, it's going to be results driven. But just do what you can. Like in fact, week number 1, go a little bit less than the RPEs that I'm giving to you, and just start building slowly. So if I ask you a 7 week 1 and you haven't run in years, just take it easy. You don't have to sprint, because you're going to be really, really, really sore the next day. And I don't want you guys going from 100 to 1,000 between a week. So that would be like my recommendation. And obviously continue to do lift weights at least 2-3 times a week. I don't know, you can do, there's so many options. I know a lot of people are doing muscle burns fat advanced. We actually, if you want to give that a try, we even have like some moves that are going to be similar that you're going to be seeing in the program. So that way you're going to know how to do it properly. There's also so many other ones. Whatever you're doing, just keep it up. But definitely, if you want to feel more ready, go twice a week at least and get out and start walking and running. But make sure that you really, really stretch good after. Because in the sample, and I know I'm talking a lot, but in the sample, we had a really, really packed, you guys have no idea our production schedule. And we have to do everything in both languages. And because I am a mom of 3, usually a film like that, a production would be like 8 weeks of filming, even doing like multiple workouts a day. But by the time when it comes to film the sample, we did our very best. But that's why you see like they were taking scenes from one thing and another. So the warm-up was not a proper warm-up. We just did like a little something to show you guys. And then the cool down is not a full cool down. So I really expect you guys, when you do running, that you take at least 3 minutes and you do the proper stretches so that you feel good. Because if not, you're going to be really tight.
So I think we only have 30 minutes with you, but if it's okay, I'd like to ask one more question. And then we'll let you go since I do want to protect your time. So the 5K.
Oh, girl, let me check something.
Oh, do you have one right?
This is my last call, right?
Oh, well then, girl, we could go all day.
Let me double check, though.
You have one more. So yeah, we have like until 5:40.
Okay. This will be the last question, I promise. But I do want to touch on the 5K. It's such a wonderful way to wrap this program, to have something so empowering to have people do. So can you talk about what are some options for people? So do they just run their neighborhood and map that out on their car? Do they use an app? Do they find, a local 5K? What is your recommendation for that?
For the 5K, that's honestly whatever is more sustainable for you. A lot of people did it around their neighborhood. There were some people who I'm still like, they went to the track. Why you want to do for 12 laps on the track? I don't even do that. Not even in my best day, I will do that. But there were people like that, they got creative. They went to a trail. There were some people who they were just running around. Their husbands or partners or friends were in the car to make sure they were safe. So I'm just going to leave that up to you guys to get creative in whatever it is. But it is a huge opportunity to build a community, to build groups around it, because it's going to be a huge virtual 5K. Beachbody is going to be partnered up with charity, and there were people in the test group who were doing so. So it's pretty cool. But yes, and when it comes to tracking the distance, there are certain apps, Nike app, there's Runkeeper, and even your phone. Not an iPhone savvy, but there's some people that apparently there's something there that you can track your distance, calorie, and things like that. So it's good that you always keep track of the weights that you're using and the miles, like kind of like the pace that you're doing, because you're going to be able sometimes to do the same workout and you get to compare it, and then you get those stats and you're going to be like, wow, week 1, there were people like, I was having like a 60-minute mile pace. And then week 4, they were like, it was a 12-minute mile pace. And that is a huge win. And that's what I want you guys to focus on: eating properly, resting good, avoiding alcohol if you can. This is not one of those programs, unless you're doing like time crunch, maybe have a little bit here and there. But if you're doing, really taking it serious and a great opportunity, I know Carl is going to do Sober October. I'm going to be doing that as well. When I was filming, I was really taking care of my body because it was the only way I was going to be able to perform like that. And it's a really great opportunity to focus on performance and just really, really step your fitness. I know you guys are coming from great programs, but now you have an opportunity to take it up a notch, and just really get out of your comfort zone, but in a very uplifting and empowering way.
Well, Mary, I don't know if you want to close it out, but I will say this, Idalis, I also convinced Mr. Natoni to do the program with me. So he is going to be running right alongside me. So we're super excited, and I'm excited to reshape the conversation. I am one of those people who have told myself, I don't like running. I'm not good at running. And so I think you're just the person to help me change that conversation. So thank you.
Yes. And I think, like all of the time that I've said yes to the things that I've like sucked about more including even my process of becoming like a more well-known trainer and being on camera. Like I was really bad at it at the beginning, and I know you can relate, maybe Danielle, like whenever we start doing something we're just bad, like, so it's good to be coachable, to be like, to continue get better, to celebrate our progress, and to do what you guys are always asking people when you're inviting people. Hey, let's do this, get out of your comfort zone. So you'll be surprised like all the benefits that it gets. But again, this is a program like you're not competing with anyone. You're not just like, I'm not asking you guys to do a certain time. You have to run this, you have to do this. No, go at your own pace. Like listen to your body. And remember, I'm just there to coach you, but it's about what you can do. As long as you're being honest with yourself and doing your best, that's all I want and more. And just have fun with it. And yes, and it's just reshaped our mindset, our conversations, because from personal experiences, like I said, like all these times that I allow myself to be a beginner, I grew and I learned and I became more resilient and I became stronger. And that's maybe why I'm now in a position that I can motivate others and help others in from a very genuine and authentic way, because I sucked at it a lot of things. But anyways.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mary. I assume that you'll send me and the other leaders on this call the recording so that we can share.
I absolutely will. You can expect that first thing tomorrow morning. Thank you, Idalis, for your time.
Thank you, ladies, so much. Have a Thursday. Have a great almost weekend. Bye. Talk to you.